Our first speaker after the break is Julian Herrera-Walston, who brings us a powerful reflection on identity, culture, and the flaws of racial categorization. Growing up mixed race, Julian often found himself questioning where he truly belonged, feeling isolated from both of his cultures and struggling with the expectations placed upon him by others. Through pivotal conversations and personal experiences, he came to a profound realization. Identity isn't about labels imposed by society, but about the cultures and values we choose to embrace. Please welcome Julian Herrera-Walston with Breaking the Code.
What are you? I've heard that question my whole life. Not who, but what. As if my existence needed a label, a box to fit into. Now, growing up mixed African American and Nicaraguan, I was never black enough. I was never Latino enough. And when I was younger, I was led to believe that maybe I just wasn't enough at all. When I was young, I had always felt a disconnect between myself and my peers and even my family. I looked too different from my mom's side of the family, and I was an entirely different shade from my father's side. And according to my peers, I didn't speak like a black person was expected to. And I never spoke Spanish like my Latino peers. And so, for the entirety of my early childhood, these emotions plagued me. I constantly doubted my own cultural identity. However, I kept these doubts bottled up. That was until middle school. One day, a kid named Ethan, someone who I was never really friends with, but won't ever forget him. He came out of nowhere to me and decided that he was going to tell me exactly what he thought of me. You're not black, and you aren't Latino either. Mixed people are their own thing, not a part of either culture. And just like that, all the doubts I had growing up were spoken into existence. I didn't talk like I was black. I didn't speak Spanish. So where did that leave me? Ethan made me feel like an outsider to my own heritage. Like I had no right to claim the cultures I came from. It felt like he implanted himself into my mind, writing his own code into my program. And he let it change how I defined myself. He trapped me within a box, a system designed to inhibit my cultural expression. That one conversation planted a question in my mind that I could not shake off for years. Who am I, if not what I was born into? I held on to those doubts all the way into high school, hoping I'd finally find a sense of belonging there. But to no luck, things didn't change. I still faced microaggressions, racism, even from the people I was supposed to belong to. Some black students saw me as too Latino, and some Latino students saw me as too black. I was stuck in between, never quite enough for either side. The labels I had been given were not about embracing my own identity. They were about exclusion, keeping me boxed in. Then one day, after school, I was talking with two of my friends, good friends, Mario and Brandon. They were curious because they knew I was mixed and wanted to understand more about my background. So you're Afro-Latino? Mario asked. I hesitated. Well, no, Afro-Latino is a Latin identifying individual who is of African descent. I'm half Nicaraguan, half African American. Brandon looked at me and just said, but that's just Afro-Latino. That moment hit me like a brick. because it was the first time I saw race for what it really was. Not culture, not history, just a category designed to make people easier to define. Just mere code within a greater system of racial and cultural oppression. I realized how flawed it all was. People weren't being identified by their lived experiences, by the cultures they were raised in. Everyone like me has been categorized by some abstract system that couldn't care less about who they actually were. And for the first time, I started to let go of the labels that had held me down for so long. But this realization wasn't just theoretical. Years later, it was put to the test in the most outlandish way possible. So let's break the ice here. I got into a physical altercation at a movie theater. An older man, maybe mid-20s to 30s, another black man, mind you, took our seats and refused to move. My mother, recognizing no other seats were available and determined to not let him ruin our night, demanded he move. Now he refuses, an argument breaks out, and he goes up to her face, and says, "Shut the F up, wetback." Now, as I believe everyone wouldn't question defending their mother, I was not about to let him talk to her like that. The situation escalated and we got into it. Security gets involved, the fight's broken up, and as he's being pulled away, he sneers at me and says, "Way to promote black unity." The sheer irony made me want to laugh in his face. This man, who, mind you, had zero issue with calling my mother a racial slur, suddenly decided I was black when it suited him. He was the same kind of person that Ethan was. The kind of people that spent my whole life making me feel like I wasn't black or Latino enough. And now, that kind of person who represented a system that forced me into a box had conveniently picked a side for me. But at this point in my life, I found myself not caring. I made my decision. I am what I say I am, not what anyone, person, or system tells me to be. That fight, those interactions with my peers, and years of feeling like I was less than for being mixed, all led me to an understanding. Race doesn't define you. You define you. So to anyone who has ever felt like they were given expectations about how they were supposed to act, remember this. You know who you are because it's you. Don't let anyone take that from you. The systems at play will always try to categorize us, code our perceptions, put us into boxes. And when that box doesn't fit, it tries to push us back to the margins, making us feel like we have to prove ourselves to belong. But I refuse to play that game. I don't care about the code they put into me anymore. My race does not convey my identity, who I am, who I identify as. I am African American. I am Nicaraguan. I embrace the cultures I was raised in. And that is more than enough for me. And it should be enough for everyone. So forget your labels, forget the system, and just break the code. Thank you.